It's okay, we'll wait until you sit. You're fine. Hello! Hello! You can hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Now, boys, do you have a recording?
Yes.
Excellent. Those are my sons, Anthony and Kim. Cheap applause. Hi guys, come on in. Now, I just wanted to say, before we get started, this first video and then another video that you'll see a little bit later, these, Dad and I, when he was in hospice, the first time, because he did hospice, then he went to home hospice, then back to hospice. But while he was there, I was like, Dad, we should record something. You want to record some things so we can play at your Rock Out to Life celebration? He was like, yeah, that'd be fine. So we are going to do that. Now, I was just going to play it and just let you determine what you will determine, but it's fine. But Rhonda, my beautiful fiance, she said maybe you should give an explanation. Now, Dad, as any of you may or may not know, Dad was all about impressions and cracking jokes. This is all these videos are. They're just him doing impressions or his forever want to be a DJ. So that's basically what these are. They're just him goofing around. And if you know anything about Larry Karraker, I asked him when we finished filming these, I was like, Dad, do you want to say anything of substance at all? And Dad thought for a second, and he goes, no. Because that's what Dad was. He lived his life out loud all the time, so you always knew where he stood. Do we have somebody back there? You want to come in? Hello? Door? Do you want to come in? No? Okay. So, here we go. By the way, Josh Davies and Jordan Bandy, thank you so much. They're our hosts this evening for the McPherson Opera House. I get that if they want to come in with the respect. No? It doesn't matter. They'll miss the explanation and then they'll just be confused or amused, maybe both. Oh, there we are. That must be Kelsey. That is Kelsey. Kelsey, get in here! Yay for Kelsey! Yeah! Hello, come on, come in. Make yourselves at home.
We've lost the Kimber.
Ah, that's okay. She'll turn out someday. Oh, there's Kira. Oh, there's Kimberly. There's Dad. Hi. Hi. Oh. I just gave a big explanation. Ask your neighbor what I said. It'll be fine. All right. So, without further ado, that door's that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the Rock Out to Life celebration of Larry Karraker.
Gentlemen and children of all ages, we invite you today to be entertained at the memorial service of Larry Karraker.
And whatever comes our way, yeah, I gotta go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Find all of the guns and bombs and explode into space. I like smoking lightning, heavy metal thunder, racing with the wind. And the feeling that I'm explode into space and like a true
working in the lab late one night, and my eyes beheld an hairy sun.
Oh, my monster slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It wasn't real smash.
He did the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
he did the mash.
He did the monster mash.
And who could ever forget Santa and Cake Man? Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, Cake Man, soon you will be going zooming into the night. Zooming all around the earth, Cake Man.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, running down Santa Claus Lane. Blitzen, blitzen, all his reindeer pulling on the rein. Bells are ringing, children singing, all the bells bright. Hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight.
Bond's the name, James Bond, and I will take that shake, not stir. Your name is Junior. I named the dog Indiana. I need more help, Scotty. I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. She won't take much more. Badges? We don't need no stinking badges.
He rode a blazing saddle, he wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and far.
No more rhyming. I mean it. Anyone want the peanut? As you wish. By now, you have to realize it's my life.
It's my life, it's not only mine. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live my life. It's my life.
And Josh Davies, he did all the editing and the sound editing and all that. I explained it to people. I was like, I was the cinematographer and director. Josh was the sound editor, the editor itself, and Dad was the star. So that's how we. But big round of applause for Josh for doing that. And like I said, we got yelled at a couple of times by the nurses. They were like, can you please? Shh. And what was interesting, again, the first time he was at Hospice House, when we were filming those, the nurse comes in and she goes, I'm sorry, who's my patient? And she was like, I'm not used to my patients being fully dressed and filming things. So and Dad was like, no, it's me. So, and again, this was just stuff that he loved his entire life and he just wanted to share it with people. So we've got one more of those, and then there's going to be a picture video a little later. Now, I did write all this stuff down so I wouldn't forget. It's not going to fit there. Doesn't matter. I'll just read it like this. But Larry Karraker, Larry Lawrence Eugene Karraker, was born November 10th, 1954, here in McPherson, Kansas. He was the kid who always had a glint in his eye of mischief. We will get to some stories later from you in the crowd, so don't be shy. If you have stories, come and tell them. It's all good. Should you like to share? But the things I have been hearing from his classmates at hospice blew my mind. I knew some things, but I didn't know all things, and now I know even more things, so yeah, Dad was a mix of a mischievous, charming mixture of Han Solo, Burt Reynolds, Bill Murray, and everything in between. So he was always if there is a troublemaker cliche, he was probably that. He was seemingly more interested in cars and gals, dancing and acting than in his studies. I'm sure he did fine, but yeah. Now, I remember Dad telling me different stories. Some of these stories were just from his youth, but one of them in particular that he always liked to tell me is about when Granddad Karraker, Cliff Karraker, dadgummit, Cliff Karraker, he chained Dad's car to a tree because Dad had been drag racing at the school parking lot. And Uncle Kevin, you can vouch for that, right? Yep,
Yes, sir.
he did it. Which car was that? His Impala?
61 Impala convertible.
Yep. Chained to a tree. He also was into acting, which he threw Melissa and I, my sister Melissa, into acting very early on. She was the actress, the singer. I was the idiot, and I was fine with that. But and I still am today. So I wish he had thrown me into something like accounting, something that made money, but it's fine. It's fine. But Dad was always very proud of when I think it was either high school or middle school, probably high school, but he got to be a Music Man, and he was so proud he would say, you know which line I got to sing? Montgomery Ward gave me a bathtub and a crosscut saw. He was so proud of that. So proud of that. Let's see. I have heard a few things from his high school friends, like I was saying. Things like, this was from Truce. Truce, we were at hospice, like I say. And by the way, let me just back up just a minute. I've got all this here, it's just more of a guideline. But when we were at hospice, I would do the evening shift with Dad. Just kind of keep an eye on him, see how he's doing and all that. So one night, he would rally, which I didn't know the meaning of that until Dad was at hospice, but rallying is when you just get this sudden burst of energy. And one night, Dad had been asleep all day, and then he woke up, and around about like 6, and he was like, who's coming over today? I was like, what? Nobody. We didn't have anybody on the schedule. He's like, call Brett and Cindy. Tell them to get down here. I was like, Dad, what? Are you serious? Because he had been out all day and he was kind of out of it. But he was like, yeah, call Brett, tell him to get over here. And so I did, and he created his own little party. And I was like, are you bored of me? I don't know. But yeah, so this is what Dad would do. But Truce came over, and one of his high school classmates, and Truce told stories. One story in particular, he goes, hey Larry, do you remember that time you were checking out some girls over here while you were driving that way, and you took out an entire fence? And I remember the stuff I got grounded for, so I don't understand. I was a lot better than that, but he would also, I learned this from Shanna, he would take higher proof alcohol across city lines and sell it at a higher price over to counties that didn't get a higher alcohol percentage in their alcohol. I didn't know that, so that's good. And then Steve, another classmate, said, you know, Larry, do you remember this? My brother was one of the ticket takers at the drive-in movie theater, and Larry, do you remember you would drive in and you would pay for one ticket and then you would go and But my brother said every time he would see a whole bunch of people climb out of your trunk and get into the car. And so he paid for one price, but about 6 people saw the movie. So, again, I don't know why I got in so much trouble. Whatever. He helped found the McPherson Community Theater, which I believe started at the Opera House. Again, Dad was a lifelong actor. It was a hard conversation to have. By the way, tonight is uplifting. It's just silliness. Dad wouldn't have it any other way. There will be moments of somberness, but mostly he was like, you better make sure everybody's partying, okay? And I said, I will. That's fine. And I know it's not a great dad impression, but it's the only thing I have, so. And a little bit more hair than him, but not much. It's flying away from it real fast, and that's okay. It's a Karraker thing. Anthony and Caleb, that's your future sons. Yep. Okay, so he started the theater guild here. Now, one of the phone calls that I had with Dad was, which you never want to have with a parent. It was a difficult one, but I called him and I was like, hey, how would you like to have your last bow be at the McPherson Opera House where you started at? And he got very emotional and he was like, yeah, that'd be very nice. And I said, well, you got to help me here. I can have a bit of a structure, but I need your help because I don't want you getting ticked off of me. If I play a song you don't like, and he was like, I'll come back and haunt you. I was like, okay. Oh, also another point of reference. I said this over at the funeral home, but I can't refer to Dad, Larry Karraker, with the D word. I can't do it. He's not D-E-A-D. Dad passed. He is alive and well, and, you know, up in heaven, Dad knew exactly where he was going, and he was excited, but still not excited. There was one point, I was over at his house, and Dad just kind of had a grumpy look, and I was like, what's wrong? And he was like, well, I thought I'd swing out of this. And I was like, well, Dad, it's okay because you're going to be even more present than you already are right now once you go high-five Jesus. And he was like, well, yeah. And I was like, yeah, so it's okay. It sucks because 65, that's still very, very young, but I said, Dad, it's okay if you have to go, and it's okay if you have to stay. And he goes, I'd be okay with both of them. And so, but he was like, I know where I'm going, Michael. I'm going to see the Lord, and it's going to be awesome. And I said, yes, it is, Dad. It's going to be amazing. Bless you. So, yeah, he knew exactly where he was going. So I can never say that he is the D word. I just say he is past, because he's in eternity right now, forever and ever. And I told him, I was like, in the blink of an eye, we're going to be with you. So it's not going to be too long. And I take great comfort in that. I told everybody I've been keeping my emotions in a suitcase, in my heart and my head, wrong way. In my heart and my head, just to get through this. But it's been a lot easier because he knew where he was going. As my brother-in-law Nick said right after, he was like, you know what? He's probably up there with his robe, cutting the sleeves off right now so he can show the guys. And I was like, yes, he is. Yeah. There were a couple of things that Dad loved to do. Some of you may or may not know. He loved to sing, obviously. At Hospice House, I swear, he was singing to everybody. Everybody. And Rhonda looked at me and she was like, now I know where you get it. And Melissa's the same way, the boys are the same way. All of our siblings, Bonnie, Tim, Christina, Justin, all of them caught Dad's stupid sense of humor. I mean, all of us did. Dad loved to sing, he loved to play guitar, he loved to build model cars. He collected tons of model cars. It was very, very cool. He was a hands-on guy when it came to working on cars. I'm sure at the behest of Mr. Cliff Karraker. He was voted Mr. Personality in high school. He went on a cruise, I'm not sure what for, but he always talked about that. He worked in construction, then Kansas Jack, Sterling Drug, And you have my dad to thank. Over by Sterling Drug, there's the train tracks. You all are familiar with where the train tracks are. By Sterling Drug, just cough or something, just so I know you know what I'm talking about. Go, Okay. Well, Dad, years and years ago, he got into a car wreck there with the train because there were no little borders that would come down. So he actually, that was one of the things that prompted the city to finally put something up over there. However, he wrecked his little gremlin car. So I'm not sure it was so much of a loss. It's fine. So that's one of the things there. Let's see. Going through my stuff. So, he became a Christian in his youth. So as much as he was a devil on earth, a mischievous, wonderful devil on earth, back in his youth, he did accept the Lord with the guidance of my mom and papa, Larry and Mary Lou Booker. He did marry my mother. I didn't have to look for that. I knew he married my mom. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So my mom, Deborah Booker, at that time, he married her. Now, we won't focus too much on that tonight as far as that past goes. It is my past, it is his past, it is my siblings' past. But some of the coolest things came out of that. They made Dad who he was. And if he showed nothing else, Dad showed all of us, growing up with him, how to show devotion to your significant other. I have failed on numerous occasions on that, but one of the things, going back to Mom, that Dad told me is that Elton John's Your Song, you're all familiar with? There you go, that's better. Well, he learned to play that on the guitar specifically and only so he could sing it to my mom. I think either when he proposed to her or some such. So I thought that was pretty cool. Dad would give anything to anybody, but going back to his Christianity, because he already had a good, wonderful spirit, when he became a Christian, that just took everything that he already had and it built upon that. So he became just... I told this to my amazing stepmother. We will get to Juliet a little later down the way because he married a wonderful, wonderful woman 21 years ago, I believe. 21, Megan? Yeah, yes. And Megan, my wonderful stepsister, too. She's amazing. So she has been a huge help in everything. So if we could, give a big round of applause for her. And while we're at it, my siblings, Tim, Bonnie, Christina, Melissa, Justin, Megan, Coco, that's the dog. But all of them, we all grew up and we all gleaned off of him what we could, and there was a lot to glean from. By the way, Bonnie brought all the refreshments that we can do later, so big round of applause for that. We're just getting all the applause out of the way right now. But anyway, as I was saying, because I do tend to meander, little bunny trails. My wonderful stepmom, Juliet, I told her the best way to understand God, because she was asking me about that. She was like, Michael, heaven seems like such a foreign concept. I only know, what Dad said and what I've learned at church and things like that. And I said, well, the best way to think about God, think about how Dad would respond to people. No matter if we didn't accept a phone call from him, couldn't go to one of our Christmas or Thanksgiving get-togethers, didn't text him back, would occasionally not pay their cell bill. Anything like that, no matter, and friends, if somebody slighted him, if somebody said something against him, if somebody hurt him to the core, Dad would accept it, absorb it, and then forgive and love again, and just open arms ready for the next minute that you do answer that phone call, that you do show up and say hi, that you do give him a hug, that you do say something nice. Dad reflected all of that, and I said, Julia, that is the way to think about God. That's exactly what God does. He always takes us back, no matter that we deserve it, because we don't. But I said that's kind of a good judgment on who Dad was. Is he, after he became a Christian, just wanted to reflect God's glory in that way, and I think he did a pretty fantastic job. Now, if I may, let me see, let me find it, give me a moment. I had written a text to Dad, hoping that he would read it when he could. This is when he first went in to St. Francis, and the prognosis was anything we do will not prolong, but this other option can make you comfortable. So I sent him a text, and then I called him the next day, and I was like, did you read it? He was like, yes. Who'd you steal it from? I was like, pardon me? Nobody. It's just how I feel. And there's a lot of regret, and a lot of sorries, and a lot of I love yous and things like that. And then, a little later down the way, Dad was like, and this was in hospice a couple of weeks ago, but he was like, hey, where's that text you sent me? I brought it up. He was like, hey, can you put this as an insert if you have a program? I was like, what? He was like, well, say to the kids and family and friends. And I was like, so now you're stealing my stuff? No. And I said, Dad, I don't, there's a lot of stuff in here that absolutely doesn't apply to you. And he was like, well, you work on something and then you show me and let me see it. So I worked on this. And basically, I think this is what he wanted to say, and I read it to him and he agreed. And I'll read it for you now. He wanted everyone to know that as much as Dad gave to all of us through his care, his jokes, his world-famous hugs, and wonderfully over-the-top love, we all gave him that much back. You'd never know it, perhaps thinking that it'd be a chore to replicate all that Dad gave, but Dad saw it the opposite. It was his choice and honor to give something back to those he'd received from, which in his case was everyone. He grew up a performer, having that bigger-than-life exuberance, which when he stopped being on stage, the world became his stage. However, instead of, like an actor, reciting lines and faking emotion, Dad got to be 100% genuine with every show-stopping interaction he ever had. That not only went out to his family and friends, but through his tech support job, stranger on the street, waitstaff person, child and outreach programs, and animals from dogs to cats to gerbils and hamsters, Dad would give back. Dad was the template to copy if you wanted to know how to give and receive love. But then again, Dad took his cue from every person, place, or thing he'd ever encountered. I think to sum up what Dad wanted everyone to know was this. Thank you guys for all the love. I love you too, and I'll see you later. So I think that's kind of what Dad wanted everybody to know, which he said, yep. So that's what he wanted everyone to know. No matter what he gave out, you gave him just as much back. So, to carry on and to not be so down in the dumps, because that's not what we do here at Larry Karraker's service, I think, let's see, Uncle Kevin, you want to come up?
Yeah, okay.
Alrighty, just over that way. I'll bring the light to you. Hold, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Karraker! Here you are, sir.
Well, I had to wear a Harley t-shirt just for Larry, and it was my honor to have Larry as an older brother. I mean, yes, he was a bit of a rascal, troublemaker, daring at times, but I inherited some of that from him, of course. But one thing I did inherit from Larry that, still sticks with me today is the nickname, Crackers. Because Larry was the original Crackers. Back in his teen town days, if any of you remember those days, he ended up doing a one-man dance routine. And he had his picture plastered in the yearbook, and there he is. He's out there and he's flailing his arms and he's just boogieing down with elephant bells. I know he purchased some elephant bells when he came back a couple years ago for the May Day parade, which he and his class walked down Main Street. I'm sure he was pretty tired by the time he got down to the end of Main Street because he was dancing the whole way. Just odd things I remember. Like I said, I was always proud to call him my older brother. Riding in his old I think it was a 52 Buick was his first car. And I was probably, do the math in my head, I was probably 6, no, maybe a little older than that, 8 maybe. But there he was, Larry bigger than life, and he's driving this great big old Buick. I'm a little pee-wee kid sitting in the back seat, and I had a room for like 5 people on each side of me, it seemed like. He had that car, he had his 61 Impala, which was chained up in the front yard. I remember one of his cars, I think it was a 91 GTO. He decided that he was gonna do some alley hopping. Well, he alley hopped that GTO right into the center of a telephone pole in the alley. His little love pickup. One story that I can tell when he was living at home with us, my dad used to have a dump truck. My dad, he was working on the dump truck, changing the valve cover gaskets or something like that. Specifically, told Larry, he was the oldest, I've got to run uptown and get some parts, but whatever you do, don't start that truck. Larry, he's up there, and I was tasked with getting a bottle jack out of the toolbox that was underneath the bed of the dump truck. The bed was already in a raised position. Well, I'm in there and I'm scrounging around trying to get the bottle jack out. I set it on the ground. The stuff was askewed in the toolbox and I'm trying to get it all leveled out. And Larry's sitting up in the truck. Evidently he bumped one of the levers. All at once this bed starts coming down. And I'm hollering at Larry. And I said, stop it, stop it. And he couldn't get it stopped until he started the truck. Well, he started the truck about the time I got the toolbox closed, about the time the bed of the dump truck touched my back and my ribs touched the frame of the truck, and he started the truck back up, started raising the bed back up, and I slid out. Yep, I'm okay. Well, Larry, he took the brunt of it when Dad came home because there was oil all over the engine compartment and he just couldn't explain it to Dad. Well, of course, we didn't want to explain it to Dad what had happened. But, he saved my life and, I'll always remember that. Always remember him sitting in the bedroom in our mobile home, picking his guitar, just singing away. May not have been the right words to the song, but it's ones he wanted to use. He held me up when I was in a down place, and he told me that I was the BA. Badass. Just for what I had gone through, but with his words, that soothed me. It helped me get through rough times in my life. And he was always that kind of guy that kept picking people up, making you feel like, yes, I'll pay attention to you. You know, I want to have a conversation with you. You know, he'll be missed, but like Michael said, he lives on inside me, inside all of you that, you know, say a joke that he used to say or do a crazy impersonation of his voice. You know, just one of those things. That's something, you know, I hope we all take with us, just a little piece of who he was, and share it with everybody you meet. Because it just makes this world a lot easier to live in. And I'm not going to ramble on anymore, Michael.
You got that? Need light?
No, I'm okay.
As Uncle Billy would say, I'm okay! I'm okay! Well, okay there, Uncle Billy. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, what you will hear next is my sister Bonnie, and then you will hear from Melissa through pre-recorded recordings. Enjoy.
I was 6 years old when I met my dad. I had been shuffled around from home to home my whole life, so I didn't figure this home would be any different. I asked the social worker if he was going to hit me or hurt me in any way. She said, "Why don't you go ask him?" I met him in the middle of the staircase and asked him. He went upstairs to compose himself and came back down with tears streaming down his face. He said, "I promise I will never hurt you." In honor of a promise never broken, I am so thankful, Dad, that God gave me you. Everything good about me is because of you, and I don't blame him for wanting you back. You're the most amazing person any of us could ever have met. Thank you so much for loving us. You're in my heart forever, and make sure you show Jesus how to not tip his bike over while you're riding your Harleys together. Love you so much. Love, Bonnie.
The myth, the legend in doing so. I know that we'll all forever love and
I think actually that one may be a mess up. Let me play it from here, Josh. Sorry, Melissa. We'll get it. We'll get it. Here we go. Ah, here we go. Perfect. Okay. Okay.
as I've been alive. You could write a book with all the Larryisms. I do what I can to help out. And you know, people tell me I look a lot like Sean Connery. His best attributes were his unfailing kindness and his unconditional love. For those, along with his delightful humor and sage wisdom, I'll forever be grateful. Larry Karraker was always a friend to all he met, and he became the man, the myth, the legend in doing so. I know that we'll all forever love and miss him. He also sang a song called No More Nights, and it took of heaven. No more nights, no more pain, no more tears, no more crying again. Praises to the great I am, and we will live in the light of the risen Lamb.
Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Karraker.
I
would get in a lot of trouble if I didn't include his favorite musical of all time, Phantom of the Opera. So we're going to do a little bit something entirely different. But Phantom of the Opera, he saw, I think 6 times, New York, London, a whole bunch of places. So, Josh, if you would, here we go.
In sleep he sang to me, in dreams he came. That voice which calls to me and speaks my name. And do I dream again? For now I find the Phantom of the Opera is there inside my mind. Sing once again with me, how strange to wear my power over you grows stronger in the end. And though you turn from me to lands behind, the Phantom of the Opera is here inside your mind.
And now for something other completely different. This is, I think, a love letter to everybody, from Dad to you.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In the small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is through, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Want to throw them up here again, Josh?
Be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, every that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is through, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Dad would say. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we could take a break, or we could just keep going. Now, for a break, give me a yeah break. For a no break, go no way. Oh, you can do better. No way! That's nice. Let's keep going. Hey, Josh. Josh. Yeah. There it is. By the way, Josh has been my bestest friend since I think our sophomore year. He likes Elton John. I like Billy Joel, and that's fine. So, Josh, you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, this next section is going to be, it's a pretty long video, but where are you going? You'll be fine, you'll be fine. So, enjoy a whole bunch of pictures of Dad and some of the music he very much wanted to share with anybody and everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the photo album for Larry Karraker, and I'll see you in a bit.
Uptown got its hustlers, Bowery got its bumps. 42nd Street got a big Jim Walker, he a bull shooting son of a gun. Yeah, he's big and dumb as a man can come, but he's stronger than a country hawk. And when the bad folks all get together at night, you know they all call Big Jim Ball just because. And they say you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull a mask on the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. But well, out of South Alabama come a country boy, said looking for a man named Jim. I am a bull shooting boy, my name is Willie McCoy, but down home they call me Slim. Yeah, I'm looking for the king of 42nd Street. He drive on a drop top Cadillac. Last week he took all my money and it may sound funny, but I come to get my money back. Everybody say Jack, don't you know that you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't speed in the wind, you don't pull the mask off that old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. But dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Well, the bug fell over the pool room, it came on top of them normal streets. And when the cutting was done, the only part that wasn't bloody was the soles of the big man's feet. And he was cut about 100 places, and he was shot in a couple more. And you better believe it's on the double kind of story when a big Jim hit the floor. Just saying you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Slim. Yeah, Big Jim got his back. Find out where it's at and not hustling people strange to you, even if you do got a two-piece custom-made boot to you. Yeah, you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't Hey Sam, you know it's a must. Gonna have a friend in Jesus. So you know that when you die, it's gonna recommend you to the spirit in the sky. It's gonna recommend you to the spirit in the sky. That's where you're gonna go when you die. When you die and you lay to rest, you're gonna go to the place that's the best. Never been a sinner, I never sinned. I got a friend in Jesus. So you know that when I die, it's gonna set me up with the spirit in the sky. Oh, set me up with the spirit in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go when I die. When I die and the nails to rest, I'm gonna go to the place that's the best. Go to the place that's the best.
Thanks. All right. By the way, I went through so many people's Facebooks, pictures, like Dad had over 1,000 pictures. I was just trying to pick and pull from, and yeah, that was so much. I was the Facebook creeper guy. It's okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like, Josh, can we have the house a little bit? Thank you, sir. If anyone would like, there's a little microphone down here. If you have a story and can come down, if you feel like sharing, come on down. We'd love to hear some stories, so come on down. Anybody? Anybody? Hey, there's a Nick. Hello, Nick. That's my brother-in-law. Right there, friend.
Can you hear me? Thank you. Well, I'll make it kind of quick here. I've actually got 3 stories. First off, I had talked to Larry a million times on the phone, but I actually met him one time in person before I got married. So a little creepy, but the first time I met him, I'm nervous. He's in town for the first time, and I walk inside, and I found out firsthand what the Karraker bear hug was. I thought the man should have been a chiropractor because my back popped a million times just off one hug. I was like, this guy means business. All right. But no, the one story that I have, sorry I'm laughing, is we had planned to get married in Vegas, and we wanted to do the zip line down Fremont, and everybody knows Larry was a bigger guy, and he's like, I got to go on a diet so I can make this. I'm like, okay. He's like, I got to get under 300 pounds so I can zip line with you. I'm like, that's cool. So we get there, and he asked me if I'm afraid or if I'm claustrophobic because I'm pinned in the corner of the elevator on Fremont, which I am, so that was fun explaining that to him. And we get up there and he makes weight. He weighs 299. And we're just stoked. And we're like, all right, I don't have to ride down the elevator with you. Cool, we get to do this. And so we get on there, and it's me, Megan, and Larry, and they all lay us down, and then they open the gate. And we all take off at like the same speed. And I'm like, oh, this isn't too bad. And everybody knows how deep Larry's voice was, so it just echoes down Fremont when he's like, why am I going so much faster? And all of a sudden, I don't think Larry got to see Fremont. I'm pretty sure he hit 80 going down there. Because, you know, I'm just zooming right along too, and I kind of squint, and I'm like, Larry's already done. He's out of his harness before I'm even a 3/4 way down Fremont. And so then I get out, and then, you know, I feel bad for Megan because she's still a distant third. She's like 3 miles behind me, so Larry and I are like, oh, where are we going to go have a beer once Megan gets here? I'm kind of thirsty. But no, that's the one memory, like the first memory with Larry that I ever had with him. I mean, I got plenty more I could go on all night, but still to this day laugh about that Fremont Street because neither one of us has really gone down. I'd never been there before. He said he'd never gone down Fremont, so his first trip down Fremont with me was 80 mile an hour in a harness. He beat me by about 3 miles. So that is all I got.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Come on down. Don't be afraid. Hello, hello. The floor is yours.
There's many stories about Larry. Larry's a great guy, and you're right, he bear hug. He'd be off the ground, let him bear hug you. He introduced me to my husband, and so I'm forever grateful for that. And actually, I introduced him probably to Juliet years ago. But before he met Juliet, this was a funny story. He said he was divorced and he was going to go to Wichita and go to a nightclub and go dancing. And so he goes out there on the dance floor and he goes by himself. But he says, I'm out there and I'm dancing and I'm having a good time. And all at once I realize I'm dancing with a dude. And he says, I went around and I went, whoa! And he says, so I started dancing over here. And I was dancing with another dude. He says, I didn't realize I couldn't wear a purple shirt. And that was just so funny. He just had the best sense of humor. Larry just, you know, and another thing is I remember him, he loved cake. But on my son's birthday parties, he didn't care if he had the cake. He wanted to lick up all that icing that went all around the outside edges. So anyway, he was a great guy. He had a great dad.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Now will be the time. Anyway. Oh, okay. Hello.
I'm really loud. I probably don't need a microphone. So
Hey, it's okay. Just you can stand in front of it though. Then everybody can see you.
the touch can hear me?
They can. They can.
So I'm April, and I was Bonnie's teenage best friend. I think we came to know each other because my parents had enough of me in regular high school. And so they said, you're going to Heritage Christian School. Oh, I need that a lot. But me and Bonnie did not get along, right? Why? Probably because there was one boy our age in that entire school, and we're both like, looks kind of cute. And then one day I think we were just like, this is dumb. Like, we're cool. Like, who cares about him, right? So anyway, so it wasn't long before I was over there all the time. And then I got a car, and we got jobs, and we used to work at the racetrack every Friday night, which was right down the street from their house, at the fairgrounds, and we thought we were so cool. And I just remember, like, it's like I lived there. I would be at home for seconds, and I would be leaving. My dad's like, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm going to Larry's. And he's like, who the hell's Larry? And I was like, oh yeah, Bonnie's dad, you know? Bonnie's dad. Just because that house was so fun. It's Larry's house, right? It was full of love and laughter and children everywhere. And like, there's never a dull moment. And Melissa and Michael would be singing. And I don't know if you guys remember, but every like Saturday, I think, or Sunday, I don't know, I was there every day, so, but there was toast like pancakes. Okay? Like, yes, right? So,
I still make those.
yes, okay, so simple and awesome. You can get done really quick. But I just remember a couple times, and one time, it's when we were teenagers, and like we were like checking out the guys, right? And we were with Larry in his Jeep, and we're going down Main Street, and at the time there was like a quick shop now where one of the pizza places was at. And there was like, everybody was in their cars, and all the guys, and I was like telling Bonnie, I was bad. And so I was telling her, oh my God, look how cute they are. You know, we need to find a way to get there. And Larry hears this, right? And he's like, what guys? And I was like, God. And I was like, okay, he's turning around. And I was like, what is he doing? What's he doing? And we didn't know what he was doing. So then he starts cranking Will Smith. And he rolls down the windows and he pulls into the quick shop. And I go like this, oh God, oh God. And I was like, what's he doing? And he rolls down the window, he's like, what's up, cool dudes? And I was like, we're never gonna get boyfriends if you don't stop him. You know, and he just, it was humiliating, but now it's like so funny, right? And so he just, and then he was great. And so, I didn't think so at the time. He had run my life, and I was like, no one's gonna date us, ever. But then there was one other time, out of many, and I think we had been at Carriage Crossings, and it was me, him, and Bonnie, and we were in the back seat, and we would not leave him alone. About maybe like the 1 or 2 little hairs he had left in the ball area, and we kept like messing with them. And he's like, stop it, stop, you know, and I was like, just pull it a little bit more, you know? And so we go up there and he'd pull it, and he's like, leave it alone, it's mine. All 3 of them are mine. And we just would not leave him alone. And you guys, he pulled over on the side of the road, and he's like, get out. And I was like, are you kidding? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is like a highway, we can't get out. And he's like, get out of the car. And I was like, oh, we should have messed with his hair, his one hair. Like, we should have touched it, you know. So we get out, you guys, and he drives off, and I'm like, we're gonna get kidnapped. And I just was in there, and I told my husband, I think we're gonna get kidnapped. And I'm looking around, I was like, but we're in Yoder, so maybe that's why he left us on the side of the road. I'm like, I don't know, like, and I was like, no, he's gonna turn around, and the car just keeps getting smaller and smaller, and soon we can't see him. And I was like, we're stuck in Yoder with the Amish, like, what do we do now? Like, what do we do? And before long, here he comes, but I feel bad. I don't know, I think maybe we pulled that out, the one hair or something. We didn't mess with him after that anymore, not about the hair. That's right. See, we did almost get kidnapped by a non-Amish. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, a car. I forgot all about that guy. He's talking. What the hell's going on?
No, he was right back there.
Yeah, he did. Poor guy. I wish I could give it back. He probably has plenty now. Yeah. I just want hair again. So, but anyway, those were 2 funny stories. So I thought I'd share. So.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Hey, there's a Mike Gilzinger. Whoop. Oh, he's hobbling, so let him go. Let him go. Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Memory card small on the camera.
Caleb, how's yours doing?
Good.
We're fine. Thank you, Anthony. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Gilzinger.
I'm Bonnie's husband. Of course, I got millions of memories of Larry, but I wasn't planning on being here tonight since I had surgery today. So I'm just kind of lack of reflecting, but one of them that really sticks out is when he first moved to Georgia, bought his new Harley, wanted to ride back for his reunion, so I agreed, and I rode down to Fort Smith, Arkansas, I believe, met him halfway, and we rode back together. Well, that morning we got up, it was pouring rain. We decided, well, we'll just go ahead and ride anyways. About 3 hours down the road, I don't know if you've ever rode in the rain or not, but every drop feels like a gunshot to your skin. But about 3 hours down the road, we stopped to get gas. It was kind of starting to rain. I was taking my boots off, dumping out the water in massive puddles. I was cold, wet, miserable. I look over, he's smiling ear to ear and just says, "That was badass." And I'm thinking, whoa, man, what kind of crazy man are you? Thank you.
And now Melissa Karraker.
So I'm Larry Karraker's littlest daughter, and I know I got to speak before, but I'm going to have one short story. Dad and I and Juliet and my ex-husband, we all went to Vegas, and I don't know if you know Dad, but he never swore. And this one time, we were going to a Cirque du Soleil show, and he had the tickets, and we actually had a friend with us who had just been through the police academy, and he was driving us. And Dad, as we were almost to the show, he goes, "Oh shit." And it was the first time I'd probably ever heard my father swear, like that big a swear word, you know. And we're like, "What's going on?" He said, "I left the tickets at the hotel." So we're like, "Oh crap." And I mean, it's almost, you know, showtime. So our friend who was driving us, who had just been through the police academy, he like whips around like, you know, a police guy would, and goes back to the hotel and drives through Vegas Strip, you know, and gets us there right in time, and all was well. And we liked the Cirque du Soleil so much that we actually went to a second show that week in Vegas. And then Dad was hooked on them and went to like all the Cirque du Soleil shows in all the world. So I highly recommend them. But anyway, that was just a hilarious time because he swears. Who knew? Larry Karraker.
Thank you for that R-rated story. Hello, young man. Hello, Joshua. How you doing, man? Ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Hoffman.
Good to see you, Mike. Just wish it wasn't for this that finally saw you after 20 years.
I know. Joshua and I have not seen each other for years and years on end. We went to high school together. We did musicals together. We did family children's theater together. We sat up on my roof, Dad's roof, and talked many a time. This man is a good man. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Hoffman.
Kind of hard to follow that. I don't really have any funny stories about Larry. Anyone that knows him could just attest to his kindness. And that was something that always stuck with me. I mean, like Mike said, we were friends in high school, and I'd be over at his house all the time. Mike taught me how to fence, and yeah, spent a lot of time up on the roof talking. Mike helped me through some things, but Larry, he always had the biggest heart, and he was always there if I needed to talk to him. I mean, it was years after I graduated. I mean, I went to the right after graduation, I went to the Army, and when I got back, there was actually a time that I thought to go see Larry. I knew Mike was living in Wichita, but I remembered where they lived, and I drove by there, and the house was for sale. I was really disappointed just because I wanted to go see Larry, and he wasn't there. And I really wish I would have done more with social media to, you know, kind of reach out to him, but he was always a really good role model, and just someone to look up to. And I will always remember
Joshua, would anyone else like to say anything? There's the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Brett Boswell.
I'm glad you came tonight to see me. So, Larry and I were, you know, different yet similar in a lot of ways. He would always say, you know, we're brothers from another mother. Take that for what it is. You know, I didn't meet him till end of '92 when I moved up to Hutchinson, And he was married, I was married. He ended up getting a divorce, and I ended up getting a divorce. And we shared a lot of stuff that, I don't know, he needed to share, I guess. And he was the guy I could talk to, and I was the guy he could talk to. We laughed, we even cried together. We'd sing together. Just, I don't know, we found out that we were alike in a lot of ways. You know, Cindy said she introduced Juliet to him, and Larry introduced Cindy to me. And Cindy, Larry, and I would go to a lunch periodically, just early dating stuff, because he was kind of the icebreaker between she and I, and that was safe. You know, anyway, you're just trying to play safe on this dating thing because it's been 20 years, and you think, oh man, I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure about this. And then, you know, Larry kind of set it up between Cindy and I. Yep, we'd go to Applebee's or wherever we'd go. And then one day, Larry, this is going to happen. Larry said, I can't make it. I said, screw you, buddy. You're on your own. We're doing our thing now. So Cindy and I made it from that point. We've been 19 and a half years together now. So it was a good thing for us. So, Larry, you kids know this better than I do. Your dad saw good in everybody. Your dad, a friend of mine is named Butch, and whether he's here tonight or not, doesn't matter. Butch worked with Larry and I, and Butch and I shared this within the last 3 weeks. Larry saw good in us that we didn't see in ourselves. And I've told my wife, if I was ever the guy, if I ever become the guy she thinks I am, I'm going to be a pretty good guy. And that holds true with Larry. If I'm the guy Larry seems to think I am that I don't see in myself, I'll be an okay guy. You know, because, you know, he could call you, and Larry's the most social man I've ever met in my life. You know, I think, Larry, I just talked to you. I mean, he's in Atlanta, I'm in Hutchinson, and it's like 4 o'clock, and I'm just kind of a turd this way. It's like, don't call me till after 5. You know I'm working. What are you doing? Well, I'm working, Larry. What do you think I'm doing? You know, I was sometimes that short, and then, I could just kick myself. You know, call me 15 minutes after. We'll talk. Well, I'm grocery shopping, he says, or I'm going through the drive-thru, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, and I had 10 minutes, and he's making a call, and that's Larry. And I was just one of 1,000 people. He's calling everybody. He's keeping tabs with everybody. Larry's a good man. I'm going to miss him. I miss him now, and I'm going to miss him tomorrow. So, hope you all enjoyed it, because he was a good guy.
I think we have time for maybe a couple more if anyone would like. Hello. Sorry, you'll have to introduce yourself, but ladies and gentlemen, this guy!
My name's Gary McNally. I was a classmate with Larry. Larry and I kind of went different directions through high school. He was more involved in the music, although I was into music. I was in there because I didn't want to take physics. He was in there because he really liked it. The other thing I remember about Larry in high school is that senior year, we all got involved, or a lot of us got involved in the alcohol. And Larry was the guy with the mutton chops down to here. And he was the guy that they never checked at the liquor store. So he would always come through for us, and Larry would have an order usually about that long, supplying half the high school with things to get at the drive-in, because you could have your party at the drive-in. The other things later, I became involved with our class reunion, and Larry was the guy you could always count on. Every year I said, okay, guys, we need some volunteers to help be on the committee. First email I get back, Larry. Every year, first year, it's always Larry, and we always loved him. And one other thing on class reunion is that he loved him, we all did. First guy to dance. First guy up, everybody else kind of like in high school, you know, kind of sitting in the back, you know. Should I ask her to dance or not? Larry was after, he was grabbing the first girl he could reach, and there he was. And I know personally, I'm going to miss him, and I'm sure the whole class is going to miss him when we have our next reunion.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, Aunt Lene.
Yes, Larry was my very first nephew. So I enjoyed the pictures that there was up there when he was real little, because I've known him since he was born. But it's been a pleasure to be part of all three of the guys, Wallace and Kevin and Larry, and watching them grow up. But I have an experience with him and the two kids, all three of them, that I have never, ever forgotten. And that was when I was 16 years old. And I had just learned to drive here in McPherson. We lived on West Hague Street, down, it's kind of a end of the road down there. And so my mother asked me to go to the store. Of course, the little ones wanted to go with me. Those were the days when you didn't have to buckle everybody in. So the two little ones, Wallace and Kevin, got in the back seat and stood up, and Larry got in the front seat. And I was driving, and we got where we needed to go, and we were coming back from Chestnut to Hayes Street. And when I turned the corner, I must have been going a little fast. I really don't remember that. But when I went down to the end of the road, Larry had lifted up the passenger side door and fell out. And I'm going, oh, I'm crying. And I stopped on the brake and I got out of the driver's side to get him, and while the car was slowly going this way, it hit the curb and it stopped, thank God. And I went out to Larry and I was just so worried about him. Well, he got in the house crying. The little ones were crying and I was crying. And what happened to Larry, he had water on the knee, bless his little heart, and he had crutches for such a short time. Well, maybe not, but anyhow, it was so sad. And so last year we had all met, we went to Kevin's birthday party. And so I asked Larry then, I says, hey Larry, do you remember that time when you got out of the car and you fell out? And he looked at me and said, yes, I remember. So I told him, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And I finally had to apologize to him. Let's see, how many years ago was that? Must have been at least 60 or 70. I'm 74, so it had to be. But anyhow, I love that guy. He was just a blessing to me and our family. And I'm going to miss him a lot.
I think we have time for one more, if anyone. Hello. Come on down. You know what? We'll get to you after.
Yeah, we can go together.
Oh, wow, okay. Come on down. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys.
I'm Craig Hurt. I'm a classmate too. I didn't plan on doing this, but I heard somebody say something about cake and Larry. And if any of you are friends with Larry on Facebook, I'm going to give you a little dialogue here that's probably going to sound familiar, and it gets better as it goes. I don't know if you know this, but you can go to your friendship with somebody, and it'll tell you some of the exchanges you've had with them over the years. So anyway, this is about 8 years of birthdays. A big old happy birthday to you, Craig. May your day be filled with cake. Getting real nervous all of a sudden. I don't know why. There's something in there. And then I say to him, have the most delightful of birthdays, and certain copious amounts of cake will be consumed. I need reading glasses. I can't see what I'm looking at. Happy birthday, my friend Craig. Craig, eat cake all day long. Happy birthday, my friend. This is me to him. And I know I don't have to remind you to eat cake, so eat lots of cake and maybe some donuts too. He says, cake was had along with Susie Q's and donuts. Thank you. And then I don't know, he shared this. He said, technically, if you don't cut a cake and just eat the whole thing with a fork, you still only had one piece. And this whole conversation about how we might share that cake, and I live in Arizona, so FedEx is involved and all kinds of stuff. He says, a big old happy birthday to you, my friend Craig. I know it's going to be cake. I wish you a day filled with cake or pie or even cookies, your choice. Happy or sad. Happy birthday, Larry. I'm having trouble seeing this. Well, I don't know what was going on this time. I said, I hope you're feeling better. And this is not recent. This is a few years ago. Anyway, I'm going to skip that because I'm not sure what he's talking about. So here's another one. Happy birthday, Craig. Eat cake or pie or large cookies. There is a punchline. I'm getting to it. I'm just going through several years here. Today, my friend, eat turkey and pie, lots of pie. Happy birthday, Larry, and as you like to say, go eat cake. And it all culminates with, and then pictures. Cake wasn't good enough. He started sending me pictures of these donuts on a regular basis from some monkey place in something monkey, Dunce Monkey. So I was going to show you a picture, you wouldn't be able to see it, but there's a picture of this donut with maple icing and bacon and all kinds of stuff on it. But he would just torture me. Every time he'd go to that place, he'd take a picture and he would send it off to me. So anyway, I'm sure you all have exchanges just like that.
Who is that behind the mask?
I know her.
It's Shanna Henry from the class of '73. Are we not the best class ever? Larry, second best. Well, Larry was a big reason, one of the biggest reasons that we had the best class, graduating class of '73 out of McPherson High School, in my humble opinion. He was the heart and soul of our class. But he was a huge part of bringing us all together every single reunion year. And some of us were reflecting afterward, it's like, I don't remember spending that much time with him actually in high school. But then, I have a lot of funny stories from high school, but boy, from the reunions I do. And all of a sudden, we got to know this side of Larry that we didn't know growing up, and you're all trying to find your own way. And I guess I just am amazed at the person that Larry turned out to be. I wasn't that close to him in high school, but oh my God, he turned out to be an amazing person. And I just want you to know how much I care about him. He was like the big brother I never had. And he treated me, I was thinking about this on the way up here, and I have known only one other person with this quality, and that was Mary Glidden. Some of you from McPherson might know who I'm talking about. She was kind of like a second mom to me. At her memorial service, we came up with the same conclusion. It's the same way I feel about Larry. He made every single person that he touched in his life, he made us feel like we were his most special friend of anybody. we were the ones, he made each one of us, I don't even know how to express this, but I thought I was really his best friend from the McPherson class of 1973. And then I find out later he's got all kinds of friends from the class. That kind of pissed me off. I thought I was his best friend. But I do have to correct our high school class president, Gary McNally, misspoke a little bit in his statement up here. Larry was always the first guy out on the dance floor. And he didn't mind doing solo dances, believe me. He did that a lot in high school. That part I do remember. But when it came to the class reunions, he would always be the first guy on the dance floor. But by golly, I was the first girl on the dance floor with him. And the party did not begin until Larry and Shanna had the first dance. And that is how I'm going to remember him. And one of the last things we talked about, I'm sorry, get verklempt. I'm happy, sad, all at the same time. I've experienced so many emotions over these last 4 weeks because I've been in Hutchinson a lot. So I was absolutely blessed to be able to see Larry there twice at the Hutch Hospice House. And through all of this, he's more concerned about me and my campaign that I'm running than his own health. He's in the hospice house with pancreatic cancer, and he's calling me and asking me how I'm doing. The man is amazing. I've never had, I've had a lot of good friends, but he is just unique in a special way that I cannot explain. But he puts you ahead of himself and everyone else. You feel like you are the only person in his life when he's speaking to you. And this happened to me. He called me out of the blue. I didn't even know he was back in Kansas. This is how out of touch I've been. And he calls in late September. And because of this campaign I'm in, I just had been behind on Facebook and emails and everything. Thankfully, Malia Bandman, my other best friend from high school, gave me a heads up that Larry was in the hospice house. And boy, the timing was great because she let me know about half an hour before Larry calls me. I didn't even know what was going on. But that was a blessing because we had an hour conversation on the phone that day. And then once I found out where he was, and once he knew I was coming to Hutchinson like almost every day there for a while from Cheney, where we live, he said, well, when are you going to come see me? I said, well, Larry, I'm going to be there early Monday morning because I have a radio interview. And he said, well, are you going to see me that day? And I said, well, I think I can. I've got a pretty packed day, but I'm pretty sure I can. So, and I gave him the time in the interview, and then I told him, if you want to listen to me on the radio, tune in at this time. And then he sent me this text that says, break a leg this morning, Shanna. And I said, I'll be dancing both legs off. And then he sent me the little Peanuts guys dancing. So there's my buddy. That's my buddy and I dancing. I mean, he was the best dance partner ever, ever, ever. And my husband was really glad about that because he doesn't like to dance. Right, honey? But the other thing that happened that day, and I'm not a morning person, and my interview was at 7:15 in the morning with a 45-minute drive before I could get over there. And so got over the interview, had a bunch of stuff going on all day long, and Larry knew I was going to be there most of the day, and he was very patient until about 6 o'clock p.m. And then, I'm looking at him now, and then I was still at the office in Hutchinson doing some work, and people were coming and going, and he calls and said, are you coming? I said, yeah, I got a few things to wrap up here, but I think I can get over there in about 20 minutes. I've got to wrap this up and then however long it takes me to drive there. So I hope I can be there in about 20 minutes. Well, I hadn't even left the office yet, and I get a couple more texts. Are you on your way? Are you coming? And I'm trying to text back while people are in the office, and I'm and say, yep, pretty soon. So then, finally, I get out of the office, get in my van. I have no idea how long it takes to get there. I think it took about 10 minutes to drive there. And then I start getting texts, and then I got this text, and Michael, my phone is still screwed up. It's still screwed up.
I'll help you.
I cannot get rid of he and James Thompson singing, which is a good thing. But, so he kept texting me, but then I couldn't reply to my text because it wouldn't work. So then he thought, I don't know what he thought, if I wasn't coming. So then he started calling me. And so he called me like 3 times within that 10-minute drive to get over to see him. I said, I'm almost there, Larry. I'm almost there. And so I have to go check in, and oh my God, Michael was there. And I am so blessed to have had, he was really alert then, and he was speaking well, and he was, we reminisced together, and we were there, I was there for like an hour and 15 minutes, and he was having a really good evening. I'm just so thankful I got to be there with him. But one of the best stories that came out of that, and again, I didn't know that much about him in high school, and I didn't know he was the one that got to buy the alcohol, you know, because he looked old. I had been put my name on that list too. I have another source. But we exchanged stories. I thought I had the best story ever about bootlegging Coors beer to my college in Fulton, Missouri, where they couldn't buy Coors beer. But no, Larry had to top my story with his selling or buying the high alcohol content and bootlegging that. So it's like, you know, okay, he's got to top my story. That's okay, Larry. That's okay. I just want you to know how much I love this man and what he means to me. He touched me in a way that I don't know, it's just some special connection that is really hard to explain, but it is just there. And other people have said it way more eloquently than me, but he is love. He expresses that love of life, love of people, love of humanity, love of laughter, love of dancing, love of acting. Just everything he does because of love. He is one of the most loving persons I've ever known in my whole life. Your family, all you family members are so blessed to have had him for a father or an uncle, or an aunt, depending on what he was wearing. And I loved his acting too. I was in the community theater here for a while, and I think that's when he first kind of took a liking to me. I was in my high school days when I was still really looking pretty hot. And I was the one in a can-can outfit, and we girls were all kicking up our legs, and he kind of liked that part, I think. Again, this is high school days. But anyway, I need to shut up. I could go on and on about how wonderful Larry is. Just know that I will always love him. And one of the last things I told him on my second visit with him is I said, Larry, save me a dance in heaven, because I know that's where you're going to be. And I hope that's where I get to, up there with you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Dad definitely wanted everybody to hang around a little later to swap stories and things of that nature. Bonnie Gilson, you're my sister. She has made this wonderful spread over here, so guys, feel free. Here in just a little bit, we are almost done. Yeah. Oh, and Megan, the shirts orders. I got your text. Let's see. Yeah, Kelsey. Kelsey, where are you at? You want to talk about it real fast? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kelsey, our cousin. She's just awesome. She's made wonderful shirts. So Kelsey, right over there. Over there. Oh, she's over there.
That's not real shirt.
Good job, ladies and gentlemen, Kelsey.
Not much of a public speaker, so I apologize. But most of you guys probably have seen our posts about the shirts. I really just wanted to create something that represents my uncle. So as most of you guys know, he's very much a Harley guy. So I was able to capture his actual motorcycle on the front of that. So I do have these available for anybody that wants to purchase them. Obviously the back side is obviously in memory of him. So I have those. I have a sign-up sheet over here. I will be putting in a second order, probably either Monday or Tuesday. So if you guys definitely want to purchase them, let me know. I do have my phone number on there. If you guys can make sure you have your phone number on there so I can reach you guys when they are available. If you are not from town, don't think that you can't purchase them. I will be shipping them out there. Any extra proceeds go to my aunt. Sorry, I'm nervous, but definitely get a hold of me or sign up. I'll have samples out there if you guys want to go with a closer look to them. So I appreciate you guys being here for my uncle, as I can see he's very much loved, so appreciate it.
Well, we're just about towards the end. We have one more video and then we can dismiss to hang out. Yep?
Sure, topic. If
Oh.
you've already ordered one, Kelsey does have them here.
Oh, if you've already ordered a shirt, Kelsey has those tonight for you. So definitely seek her out. She'll probably be over here. Yeah. Two little things that my dad would always say to me when I was a kid. He would say, you know, Michael, you're just jealous because all your friends like me way better than I like you. And he would also say, you are just a pale carbon copy of the original. So that's Dad. Before we play the last video, I want to thank McPherson Opera House, Jordan in the back, Josh Davies, so a big round of applause for them again. And to all my siblings, my family, thank you all for showing up, to all of his friends. By the way, you never know how many friends your parent has until you're put in charge of scheduling for them. Dad had a lot of friends, so many friends. But a little while ago, on the radio, I listened to this classical music thing. By the way, Dad had this tape called Hooked on Classics. Look it up. It's the Royal Philharmonic with a disco beat, and we listened to that tape for hours and hours, and it was good. But I was listening to some classical music, and this title of a song came on, and it was called The Growing Season. And it got me thinking. I was like, a growing season. How do you have a growing season when the one you grew up with is gone? How do you do that? What I kind of put together is you look at what they grew. And with Dad, it was a huge forest of just things that grew from him. You take a seed of knowledge, of an antidote, anything, and you plant it. So that way, the next growing season, that grows up and it's a part of Dad. It becomes a part of you and it keeps on growing and growing and growing. And so that's all I can say is like, be more like Dad, be more like Larry Karraker, because he gave so much and accepted so much. And so that's kind of where I'm at with the season, with the season and the show. So not to end it on a downer, actually to not end on a downer, we do have a video, but as I was talking earlier about Dad and ours joke that we would always have about me paying my cell bill, which I did pay, he would leave me messages constantly. It was our running theme. Especially my voicemail goes, hi, I'm not here right now, if you'll leave a message, blah, blah, blah. And he would go, Michael, if you're not there, where are you? Where are you, Michael? But he would also leave me messages like this, which I will play for you now. Hold on. Technical difficulty. Come on now. There we go. There.
Also, you told me you'd have a check and money for me. I haven't seen that yet. So, holla.
That was Dad. Holla. So, we'll watch this last video. Again, it's just him wanting to be his DJ self and also gives you some funny impressions and things like that. And then I'll come back out and we can dismiss. But thank you all again. Thank you, McPherson Opera House. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Dad's video number 2.
Michael? Yes, Bonnie.
Thank you so much. You did an amazing job.
Very patient until about 6 o'clock p.m. And then, I'm looking at him now. And then I was still at the office in Hutchinson doing some work, and people were coming and going. And he calls and said, "Are you coming?" I said, "Yeah, I got a few things to wrap up here, but I think I can get over there in about 20 minutes. I've got to wrap this up and then however long it takes me to drive there. So I hope I can be there in about 20 minutes. Well, I hadn't even left the office yet, and I get a couple more texts. "Are you on your way? Are you coming?" And I try to text back while people are in the office, and I and say, yep, pretty soon. So then, finally, I get out of the office, get in my van. I have no idea how long it takes to get there. I think it took about 10 minutes to drive there. And then I start getting texts, and then I got this text, and Michael, my phone is still screwed up. It's still screwed up.
I'll help you.
I cannot get rid of he and James Thompson singing, which is a good thing. But, so he kept texting me, but then I couldn't reply to my text because it wouldn't work. So then he thought, I don't know what he thought, if I wasn't coming. So then he started calling me. And so he called me like 3 times within that 10-minute drive to get over to see him. I said, "I'm almost there, Larry. I'm almost there." And so I have to go check in, and oh my God, Michael was there. And I am so blessed to have had, he was really alert then, and he was speaking well, and he was, we reminisced together, and we were there, I was there for like an hour and 15 minutes, and he was having a really good evening. I'm just so thankful I got to be there with him. But one of the best stories that came out of that, and again, I didn't know that much about him in high school, and I didn't know he was the one that got to buy the alcohol, you know, because he looked old. I'd have put my name on that list too. I had another source. But we exchanged stories. I thought I had the best story ever about bootlegging Coors beer to my college in Fulton, Missouri, where they couldn't buy Coors beer. But now Larry had to top my story with his selling or buying the high alcohol content and bootlegging that. So it's like, you know, okay, he's got to top my story. That's okay, Larry. That's okay. I just want you to know how much I love this man and what he means to me. He touched me in a way that I don't know, it's just some special connection that is really hard to explain, but it is just there. And other people have said it way more eloquently than me, but he is love. He expresses that love of life, love of people, love of humanity, love of laughter, love of dancing, love of acting. Just everything he does because of love. He is one of the most loving persons I've ever known in my whole life. your family, all you family members are so blessed to have had him for a father or an uncle, or an aunt, depending on what he was wearing. And I loved his acting too. I was in the community theater here for a while, and I think that's when he first kind of took a liking to me. I was my high school days when I was still really looking pretty hot. And I was the one in a can-can outfit, and we girls were all kicking up our legs, and he kind of liked that part, I think. Again, this is high school days. But anyway, I need to shut up. I could go on and on about how wonderful Larry is. Just know that I will always love him. And I told, one of the last things I told him on my second visit with him is I said, Larry, save me a dance in heaven, because I know that's where you're gonna be. And I hope that's where I get to, up there with you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Dad definitely wanted everybody to hang around a little later to swap stories and things of that nature. Bonnie Gilson, you're my sister. She has made this wonderful spread over here, so guys, feel free. Here in just a little bit, we are almost done. Yeah. Oh, and Megan, the shirts orders. I got your text. Let's see. Yeah, Kelsey, where are you at? You want to talk about it real fast? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kelsey, our cousin. She's just awesome. She's made wonderful shirts. So Kelsey, right over there. Oh, she's over there.
That's not real shirt.
Good job, ladies and gentlemen, Kelsey.
I'm a public speaker, so I apologize. But most of you guys probably have seen our posts about the shirts. I really just wanted to create something that represents my uncle. So as most of you guys know, he's very much a Harley guy. So I was able to capture his actual motorcycle on the front of that. So I do have these available for anybody that wants to purchase them. Obviously the back side is obviously in memory of him. So I have those. I have a sign-up sheet over here. I will be putting in a second order, probably either Monday or Tuesday. So if you guys definitely want to purchase them, let me know. I do have my phone number on there. You guys can make sure you have your phone number on there so I can reach you guys when they are available. If you are not from town, don't think that you can't purchase them. I will be shipping them out there. Any extra proceeds go to my aunt. Sorry, I'm nervous, but definitely get a hold of me or sign up. I'll have samples up there if you guys want to take a little bit closer look to them. So I appreciate you guys being here for my uncle, as I can see he's very much loved, so appreciate it.
Well, we're just about towards the end. We have one more video, and then we can dismiss to hang out. Yep.
Shirt topic. If
Oh.
you've already ordered one, Kelsey does have them here.
Oh, if you've already ordered a shirt, Kelsey has those tonight for you. So definitely seek her out. She'll probably be over here. Yeah, two little things that my dad would always say to me when I was a kid. He would say, you know, Michael, you're just jealous because all your friends like me way better than I like you. And he would also say, you are just a pale carbon copy of the original. So that's that. Before we play the last video, I want to thank McPherson Opera House, Jordan in the back, Josh Davies. So a big round of applause for them again. And to all my siblings, my family, thank you all for showing up. To all of his friends. By the way, you never know how many friends your parent has until you're put in charge of scheduling for them. Dad had a lot of friends. So many friends. But a little while ago, on the radio, I listened to this classical music thing. By the way, Dad had this tape called Hooked on Classics. Look it up. It's the Royal Philharmonic with a disco beat, and we listened to that tape for hours and hours, and it was good. But I was listening to some classical music, and this title of a song came on, and it was called The Growing Season. And it got me thinking. I was like, a growing season. How do you have a growing season when the one you grew up with is gone? How do you do that? What I kind of put together is you look at what they grew. And with Dad, it was a huge forest of just things that grew from him. You take a seed of knowledge, of an antidote, anything, and you plant it. So that way, the next growing season, that grows up and it's a part of Dad. It becomes a part of you and it keeps on growing and growing and growing. And so that's all I can say is like, be more like Dad, be more like Larry Karraker, because he gave so much and accepted so much. And so that's kind of where I'm at with the season, not to, well, with the season and the show. So not to end it on a downer, actually to not end on a downer, we do have a video, but as I was talking earlier about Dad and ours joke that we would always have about me paying my cell bill, which I did pay, he would leave me messages constantly. It was our running theme. Especially my voicemail goes, "Hi, I'm not here right now. If you'll leave a message, blah, blah, blah." And he would go, "Michael, if you're not there, where are you? Where are you, Michael?" But he would also leave me messages like this, which I will play for you now. Hold on. Technical difficulty. Come on, man. There we go.
Also, you told me you'd have a check and money for me. I haven't seen that yet. So, holla.
That was Dad. Holla. So we'll watch this last video. Again, it's just him wanting to be his DJ self and also gives you some funny impressions and things like that. And then I'll come back out and we can dismiss. But thank you all again. Thank you, McPherson Opera House. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Dad's video number 2.
Michael? Yes, Bonnie.
Thank you so much. You did an amazing job.
Your seats. Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah. Nick? Okay. Let's do it. But why are we doing this, Bandit? $80,000. But we're doing it for the money, we're doing it for the fame, we're doing it for the middle USA, but mostly for the money.
Westbound down, 18-wheeler rolling. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We got a long way to go, and a short time to get there. I'm westbound just like a bandit run.
Allow myself to introduce myself. And now, we'd like you to relax, sit back, and enjoy a little smoke on the water. Well, I'm off. But then, folks have known that for years. Yeah, 10-4, good buddy. I want you to keep the shiny side up and the dirty side down. Girls out of the way, grab your grub, start moving down the counter. That ain't gonna stop. Grab your grub, fill up your tray. Try the beans, they were prepared last Friday, and the meat's tough as a mule. The soup is cold, the bread's got mold. Anything beats a lunch at school. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Sharing on Facebook is kind of a hashtag stay strong. One of the times that Dad went into, was going over to St. Francis, he had a mask on. And he goes, look at my mask. It says stay strong. That's what Dad wants us all to do. He doesn't want us to be sad. You can still talk to him. His spirit is alive and well, and we will see him in eternity one day. Ladies and gentlemen, just take the love he gave and spread it to everyone you meet, no matter old, young, small, tall, doesn't matter, because it didn't matter to Dad. So that's all I've got. There are treats down here again by Bonnie Gilzinger. And I would say, you're right, kid. I would say we should probably shut her down by 9:45, but ladies and gentlemen, spend a little time with each other and have some fun on that badass Larry Karraker. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.